Hey, good morning, everybody. Live from the Hilton Garden Inn here with the live in-person event. If I'm echoey, this room is much bigger than my normal studio, and I have a live studio audience of people, maybe 15? And so, welcome. And let's get at it, right? Bitcoin spot ETFs go live at 9:30 in about 15 minutes. We have 11 of them that got approved last night or yesterday afternoon, whatever. We saw it earlier in the day that the CBOE was going to list them today. And, well, that happened. The SEC approved them. They're going live. GBTC is converting. It's going to be in a spot ETF now. And we'll see what happens. We've got, let me go ahead and pull up a thing I brought. And we'll talk about it here. I am on a different setup, so if anything glitches out, bear with me, I'll fix it. But you should be able to see this right here. This is the list of ETFs that got approved right here. We have Bitwise, we have ARK, we have Fidelity, we have WisdomTree, Invesco, Valkyrie, iShares, which is BlackRock. We have VanEck, Franklin, Hashdex, and Grayscale. All of these 11 got approved to convert over, or to be ETFs in the spot market for Bitcoin starting today at about 15 minutes or so. And it's interesting. Coinbase has the majority of the custodianship for this. Is Coinbase going to benefit from this ETF management? It's a whole new realm for Coinbase to be a custodian for something like this. So this will be interesting. Also, something Goose was pointing out to me last night, that Fidelity is its own custodian. Out of all those that are listed on there, Fidelity is their own custodian. And that's kind of interesting, I thought. Now, if you look at up here on the screen, you see that Bitwise, ARK, Fidelity, WisdomTree, Invesco, and Valkyrie are all offering 0 fees for the first 6 months, or in the case of Fidelity, until July 31st. So if buying one of these ETFs and holding it through this halving event is something you want to do, then maybe consider buying what the fees are 0. I mean, that's kind of a wise thing to do if this is something in your plan. Now, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get it right again. This is informational, entertaining, not trading advice, all right? I don't have my slide up to read it all off to you, but we say this every day. And I am not an advisor. I'm not advising you to buy this. I'm not giving you advice to do anything. Advice in what I do. I'm here just sharing information. I think it's important, if you're going to do this long term, you consider getting it at 0 fees. Now, after that fee waiver period ends, then we're no longer going to see the that happen. So hopefully I got sound on here. Yeah, looks like it. All right. So any questions on that? Let me know in the chat. Rongamer's in there. We got Dex, everybody, Sergio, Michael, Ted, Terrence, I've got Goose and Chris and, all these other, Jody, and I mean, just tons of people in the room here with me. Too many to even wrap off, but, welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream today. And if you want to chat with everybody that's here, just click the subscribe button over there. And you can chat right there a few seconds later. And remember, if I say anything you like, certainly everybody in the room, give me a thumbs up, helps the video get out to more people. And, let's go into some charts and what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen in the spot ETFs yet. We've got the tickers listed right up here. We've got BitB, ARKB, FBTC, Fidelity, Bitcoin, BTCW, BTCO, BURR, printing machine, BURR. iBit is BlackRock's. We've got HODL, which may be the best one on the list there. EZBC, DeFi, and then, of course, GBTC just keeps GBTC. So those will be the new tickers that show up in the market today. Should be there in 10 minutes or so. We'll see. We'll see. Do any of the ETFs have options yet? Not yet. That usually. Yeah, if you see options, the only one that might have them is GBTC, but that's they're going to be a conversion thing. So we'll see what happens on that one. I would be very careful trying to do options probably for the first 2 weeks. That's usually about how long it takes for liquidity to come in, for stability to come in, and why HODL? Just because that's if you follow crypto at all, it's funny, Michael. HODL, it's said a lot in the crypto community. So, how does this affect BITO? Well, it's probably a positive thing, honestly. How does it affect BTPT? That's a minor. How does it affect Mara? That's a minor. How does it affect Riot? That's a minor. Miners that hold Bitcoin can be a huge advantage when the price goes up of Bitcoin, obviously. We've talked about this ad nauseum the last few weeks. So otherwise, I mean, we'll see. So the ones called Trust, all these are spot ETFs. They're all spot ETFs. They all kind of, that's the way it is. Like that, this was the application to be spot ETFs. So the trusts are just their name. All right. Any other questions? All right. Moving on. Let's actually talk about what's happening today, what's going on, and where we're headed. So this is one that, look at this baby right there. Let's go to a daily chart even. Look at that move on ETC. This actually woke the boss and I up this morning at about 5:45 when the alarm went off on my phone for price movement for ETC. I'm actually break even now again and looking for a much higher move. I've been long this for, gosh, how long was that? Probably back here in 22, somewhere around here when we were expecting that Ethereum changeover. I got long, and then it kind of fizzled out for a little while. Now we're coming back strong. That I'm expecting a move up through that prior high, right up in here, right up here. So well up through 45, and we can discuss targets later. That's not really what we usually do here. So let's jump on some other things. So that is moving today, but I actually have my morning list as normal. So S&P 500 actually getting that continuation yesterday, just a little bit, and the ES is a little bit red starting out this morning. So what do I expect? I do kind of expect more continuation because we kind of confirmed that move up. Yeah, we made a lower high so far. That does give me a little bit of pause. And we're seeing that flush out this morning on CPI. Pop over and see what CPI actually came in at. To refresh. And we had, came in a little hot, a little warm, a little hot. 3.4. It's actually kind of shocking that the administration let that happen. Oh my gosh. Can you tell the shock in my voice? We all know those Chick-fil-A sandwiches, I mean, still crazy high. Nothing's coming down. It's not like we're getting disinflation or reducing prices. We're just slowing down the rate of everything going up. And that's according to official government numbers. I don't see any slowdown when I go to the grocery store. I don't know about any of y'all. I mean, everybody's shaking their head no. Everything seems like it's just keeping on trucking higher. And, it's like, whose line is it anyway? The numbers are all made up, whatever. So how does that play out in the market today? Well, obviously it resulted in the ES knee-jerking down, but I think we're still on a path. We'll probably recover quickly, and we're still on a path to probably make a new high in SPX. And when I say new high, we're talking about right up here. All-time high is not far away. Right up here. Zoom it out, get more zoomed out. Let's just go to a 3-day here. Right out there. That high from back here in 2022, early, we can make a higher high than that. It's not that far away. I mean, look at that. We're only 30, 40 points away. It wouldn't take much. Wouldn't take much. And just a nice little pop. We get that higher high. But if we hit it, be cautious. Be very cautious. We may get that bigger retrace that I've been looking for. So even though we're bullish on a very micro, looking at that 30-minute, we're actually working on that bullish breakout. We could see that extension that I've shown for a couple days now, and I'll draw it on here, and we'll talk about what the number is. Oop, double click. Have a whole different setup than my normal setup here. That 42 or 48.23 price right there, we may come up there, find resistance. So right up here, that's just marginally higher high, right there. Right there. All right. Surprised there's no sell the news. Well, we haven't actually got the ETFs in the market yet. We still got like 4 minutes. So we may see some excitement before the actual sell the news happens. So it's not like this ETF thing for Bitcoin is over yet. Like it's still, we've got the approval from the SEC, but it hasn't hit the market yet. So it may be like we get some crazy buying, we see some ramp, and then the lights come on and we get the pullback. This could play out over a few days. This isn't like an instant thing. I've maintained that we may see a crazy pop when they actually get listed, which we're minutes away. And we do have those billions of dollars that can flow in there with no fees. So that's 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, 10 billion right there between Invesco and iShares. Have reduced fees. Well, it's not free for BlackRock. They're still collecting a fee. But you got, 5, 6, 7, 8 billion dollars that would suck into Bitcoin with no fees. Plus, whatever Fidelity is like virtually unlimited until July 31st. So how many billion dollars do we suck into Bitcoin today? That could create a crazy pop. And then what happens then? I mean, we'll see. This is going to be it's probably going to be interesting for the rest of the week, maybe into next week. I have to be honest. I'm really curious what's about to happen. MSTR making the list of one of the biggest movers today, in fact. So we see it popping up off the lows. Now, I do still kind of expect MSTR. I mean, if we hit extensions, it would be completely expected to come back to the roadmap line. Completely expected. So be careful. I mean, I say this all the time. Be careful, all right? This does not have to pop right now. In fact, that looks like look how many red candles we've had. That looks vicious right there as far as coming back down to support. And where we are right now, we're just right at the top of the gap. It did that gap up right back here in early December. Watch out for that to fill the gap at the minimum. So as far as NQ goes, still working on pushing higher. We got up through the 618 and jumped down time frame, bouncing around a little bit. Like I said, I'm a whole different environment than I normally am. 5 seconds till the market opens. And here we go right here. We did make it up through the 618, up through the 786, as you can see right there. So that kind of tilts up the odds that we're going to break out to that new higher high on NQ also. Russell is kind of the laggard. Yesterday we saw some volatility. This morning seeing more volatility. That's just choppy sideways garbage in that 30-minute time frame. And looks corrective. And we're going to talk about corrective more here during the live in person later today. And, just looks rough. Oil also looking a lot like Russell, funny enough. Look at that right there. We're seeing on the 30-minute time frame. And my favorite thing is showing up right there. Everybody see it? It looks a lot like a watermelon seed squeeze shaping up right here. We've got that move, and then we've got this coming down, lower highs, higher lows, watermelon seed squeeze. That usually results in some kind of crazy pop. It's an unreliable pattern. We don't know if it's going to pop up or pop down, and it's, I don't know, it's unreliable. I can't say. We may see a final flush out to the lower, and we may see a breakout, and it finally ramp higher. I do apologize for any background noise, any clicking, popping you hear. There's some doors in here that make some noise. So, GC, jumping back up to the daily on GC, and I have to zoom it back up, zoomed way out. Right here. We had a little pop, and really it's just kind of maintaining an this inside consolidation. I still expect that drop down to the roadmap line. That's where we are. If we can't get above these highs right back here, we're not going higher in gold. So we may just push right on back down to the roadmap line. All right. And there's BTBT rocking higher, disconnected. I went offline. There we go. I'm back on. A little hiccup on the internet. Yeah, stream dropped. Back up. There we go. All right. Hiccup in the internet. Glitch in the matrix. So there's BTBT popping up, but retracing. BTC, USD. As we see these ETFs hitting, we're trying to push out to new highs. That next resistance up looks like we could top out right up there around 48 to 50,000. Now, we could get some kind of crazy super squeeze. As I've mentioned, we could pop up to an all-time high. It's entirely possible this happens. So just be careful. If we do that crazy pop, we're coming right back down. We are. I mean, it's just likely to happen. The big news, the big halving event, still 100 days away, out there in April. All right? Don't lose sight of the goal. This Bitcoin ETF thing, it's kind of small news compared to the bigger halving event situation we've got going that's going to last for years. The spot ETF thing, that's just money. That's more. It's been part of my narrative for years now. The age of adoption. I mean, Stephen helped me, 2 years ago on this. As everybody, BlackRock, we were anticipating BlackRock, Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, everybody jumping in, getting their piece of Bitcoin. That's happening. It's taken a while. It's just going to propel Bitcoin's price higher. And we're not going to not see pullbacks. I mean, that's part of the game here. We're going to see pullbacks. It's going to be gut-wrenching at times. We're going to see, likely we're in a 2+ year cycle of going higher. 2026, 2027, we're probably going to see another crypto winter. It's going to pull back. It's going to drop upwards of 50 to 70% once again. It happens. It's going to happen again. And then we'll go into the next halving run. So, set your time frame, set your expectations accordingly. Now, Ethereum, really liking this ETF action this morning, breaking out, pushing higher. The next resistance up is 3,400. Right up here where we topped out, that's where the 618 level comes in. So I've got that large orange box up there. Once we clear the current one where we gap down, once we get up there, we have 3,000 to about 3,500. I'm expecting 3,400. That's where we kind of top out. That's right where the 618 is. And we'll see what happens. Now, as Ethereum runs, Ethereum Classics kind of go with it a little bit. And we'll see what happens. It's a wild adventure here as we add something new to the crypto space that we've never had, these spot ETFs, which are now live. And apparently I just traded Mora. So I'll have to see what that actually was. I got a trade alert. So, yeah, rolling over a little bit. Yeah. Hey, it's we'll see what happens. And we've got the S5FI coming back down, getting close to 80. We're gonna see it pull back. IBIT, all these brand new. Now, you've heard me say IPOs. Like Christine Horchak asking the other day, do ETFs coming on the scene act like IPOs? And my answer is no. They're the start of their story, whereas an IPO is actually the start of the public story for something that's already been happening for a while. And I can't even pull up IBIT yet, looks like. Yeah, so I can't pull up IBIT, it looks like, but it's out there. MSTR. Oh, there's IBIT finally. Took it a second. Yeah, all over the place. Lots of volatility. The Definance Daily Short Digitizing the Economy. Interesting name. Let's see if ARC-B will pull up. Yeah, there's the ARC shares, Bitcoin. And no data. We'll see what happens. Netflix. Look at that, getting right up to the target. Moving away from Bitcoin a little bit here. Look at that, baby. I do expect that gap fill. I do have my order at it's either 505 or 510. I did buy those shares back in October, November, if everybody remembers, like when it was at 401. And I got one share. Unfortunately, I had to sell the rest of the shares on a margin call. That was just a stupid thing on my part, but had to cover the margin. And I didn't go back in because, well, once you book profit, I tend to move on. So I don't try to go back in. I'm just letting this one share I've got left ramp up to this target. I kind of think we'll see that target before earnings, and then who knows? We may get a giant pullback back down. We're seeing a lot of churn in the streaming industry. The millennials and the Zoomers and the younger generation have figured out that streaming is not cheaper than cable, and all of a sudden we're cutting some streaming services. Seeing reports of that, and also, we're seeing all sorts of stuff happen. So, just be careful out there with Netflix. I plan on booking the profit when we get into that 500 zone, and then waiting and seeing what happens. Because this is a resistance. I drew 2 giant blue arrows in there, and I don't expect it to go much higher. I expect another pullback. And that's the 1272 right there at 520. Dang, just getting lucky again. It was a roadmap bounce, classic roadmap bounce. If you want that, link is in the description down below. Just click the more button down under the video, and it's like $5. You can get this orange line, a list every week that bouncing off the line. The pattern just works over and over. So interesting that FBTC is not priced as spot. It's not tracking Bitcoin.
Because it converted, it actually converted.
That one actually converted according to Goose in the Room. So you gotta be careful here. So we're seeing GBTC converting, FBTC. Yeah, that one's just being wild right there. It's being wild. And like I say, one daily candle, I'm not even going to be able to chart these on any kind of meaningful way for 169 candles on the daily chart before the roadmap line even makes one little blip in there. So these aren't going to be very tradable for me for weeks and weeks. We could look at small time frames, but I tend to stay away from new listings for a while. I may, depending on option liquidity, I may jump into them, but we'll see what happens. Coinbase not getting the big pop that you might expect from all this new business. Looks like it's still consolidating in the middle there before it possibly drops back to this 120 area where I would be interested in obtaining more, a new position. I'm out right now, no exposure to coin, so just waiting. PANW, oh, look at that one go. Look at that one go. Let's clean that one up. Grab my fib tool. And right there. 327, 339, upside targets. They don't always have to come back to the roadmap line on the daily. If we jump down here, time frame or two, we'll probably find where it did bounce. And close on the 4 hour. Looks like it's probably a 1 hour bounce. Yep, 1 hour bounce. And that one's going fast, so that's what you expect on a smaller time frame bounce. We get there faster. So, all right. Moving on, EETH, ProShares Trust, Ether strategy. Look at that one run with Ethereum popping, getting that new high on Ethereum and rocking higher. How high can she go? Run the high, run the low, and it's probably up past, I mean, we hit the 1272 yesterday, we're blasting on up today. Climb the fib ladder, 272, 2.272, 2618, 3618, 4236. At this point, there's not enough history to even draw a roadmap line on the daily, at least not what's loading on TradingView for me. I don't know. Hard to make guesses at this point. CRM, let's go through what else is moving today. It's right up there at the resistance. Could we push higher? Always. We can always push higher. We can always do ridiculous stuff. We can, excuse me, we can always run right up to the top of that resistance box, right up there where we topped back in 21. So that's going to be up there around 310. Remember, the higher we go up the fib ladder, the more violent the pullback's going to be. You'd be like, oh, it doesn't do violent pullbacks. Look right back there in the history. Even before it made the high, violent pullback, violent pullback. So CRM has a history of violent pullbacks. Toyota Motors, looks like it's finally going to go right up to the resistance at 205. It, didn't complete the head and shoulders, so just delete that off of there. Just go ahead and remove that. It looks like a failed head and shoulders at this point. Probably going to run right up into that 210, 215 area, right up there. So FNGU looks like it's going to go for that 255 target. Retraced right to that 786 and then ramping right back up 255. Above that is 291, 290 area. So looks exciting there. If that one doesn't have options and it is leverage, and I push my leverage button if I had it, but I don't actually have all the studio stuff since I'm here with the on-site live audience. And be careful. FNGU can turn, leverage cuts both ways. Get you benefit on the upside, but it also can cut you deep on the downside. So be careful on leverage. CHK, still below the roadmap line. Broke down out of the channel, under the roadmap line, got resistance above us right there, right there. Be careful. I would not chase that one long yet. Wait for it to prove it to you. Wait for it to prove it to you. Sony, nice pop. Nice pop, nice pop. Didn't do the bearish case here, so we'll just delete that off. We're actually breaking back above. And the upside target, we'll get to that in 1 second. Trying to delete that. Right up there. Oh, see, I already had a target. 106, 105, 106. That's where I would expect it to go at this point, since it got through the resistance here. Actually broke out yesterday, it looks like. So, may only take a few days to get there. A few more gap ups like that, we could be right up in that 105 area. I wouldn't expect much more right now, possibly 110, 112, but we'll probably get another pullback And it's not like this one doesn't pull back, so be careful. On Sony, I say be careful a lot because nobody's watching out for your money like you. So if you're not watching out for it, it's unlikely anybody else is. All right, CONL. Rampant on coin being up today, but that is leverage on coin. And it certainly, after that massive exponential run right there, looks like it wants to come back at least to test these breakout levels right here. Where we broke out through that resistance. We may want to come back to that 1920 area. Be careful there. And Bitcoin rocketing. Yeah, I mean, we have the ETFs. It's excitement, something new. PDD pushing a little higher, getting the red candle. Looks like it's still going to go sideways. Could churn its way right on up to that 165 level. But I think it's going to meet up with the roadmap line before it can get any kind of excitement going again. All right, WGMI is the Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF. And as miners and Bitcoin and everything's exciting, looks like that one's going to ramp again. So go from the high right down to the low. And it's not a daily roadmap line bounce. It's going to be something less, probably maybe a 4 hour, maybe a 1 hour. Yeah, not a 4 hour. Looks like a 1 hour maybe. Load, there we are. Yep, almost a perfect 1 hour. So once we get above that $20 area, probably heading up to 24, maybe 26 on WGMI. NVDL, that one's just all over the place. Another leverage thing, be careful. We're seeing NVIDIA breaking out just a little bit. Yeah, as I always say, if you're looking at a leveraged ticker, no matter what it is, whether it's oil, UCO, or it's SPXS, SPXL, SVXY, whatever it is, go to the core instrument and take a look at it. So NVDL, go to the core instrument, which is NVIDIA. That's what it's leveraging. And it looks like 571 on the upside. Now we may mess around here. Could consolidate a little bit before we make it up to that 1618. We just popped straight up right through the 1272. So we're like 40% likely to get up to that 570 level before we see some sort of resistance. Just be careful. It could stall out. It didn't have to make it to 570. Could come up short. Could be 565. USO, just getting volatility, chopping up and down, similar to the oil chart. And like I said, looking at USO, that's a United States oil fund. Just go to CL1 exclamation point. Just go to the source. And we have that watermelon seed squeeze setting up. I would be careful. Unreliable. Could we pop down to 50? Yeah, we could. Could we break out up through the roadmap line? Yeah, we could. Nothing's clear at the moment. It's just a big, tight consolidation. We get the high up here. We got the low down here. We set that range back in December, and we haven't done anything. Just consolidated in between. So even though it's been a wild ride from 67 up to 76, like 9 points, it's just bouncing and hadn't gone anywhere for almost a whole month. All right, moving on. LABU. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I don't know. Somebody said that we might find resistance at that downtrend line. I don't know. Anybody know? I would be cautious on biotechs. I'm always cautious on biotechs. That's one of my list, one of my items that don't follow the patterns. But look right there. Look right there. Turn down at that large downtrend line. Be careful. Be careful. I just made that line parallel to the price action and moved it up there off the highs. And we turned down right there. So if we can break above it, we could go a little higher. But if we don't, watch out. We did have the reverse split right there, 1 for 20. So this action back here was actually pre-split. This action back here, currently is post-split. That's essentially adding 20x leverage to what this action was back here. All right, LPG, looks like coming back to the roadmap line. If I had my guess, that's what I would expect. KBH. Let's see. That one looks like it's probably up here at targets. Yeah, look at that, right off the 1618. What do we expect now? Consolidation, if we're going to climb the fib ladder higher, probably consolidate a little bit and then pop possibly high as 72. But we may retrace back down to this 52 area right there. All right, CYTK. Well, that's just being ridiculous. Biotech pharma. Be careful. Bud. Oh, look at that. Get near the breakout. I'm going to set an alert right there. If we get a breakout from that, from those highs back there in January 22 and March 23, that thing can quickly run on higher. Excuse me. I probably coughed right in the mic. Sorry, everybody. Just watching that one. I am long. I'm up like 400% on a synthetic position, and getting a little bit of pullback today, but I'm not concerned. We're just right there consolidating before the breakout. We get a breakout, like I said, easily run on higher. So Apple was not on the list today. I can pull up Apple, but not on the list today. So far, it was the chart of the week, but just because they're chart of the week doesn't mean they're interesting and moving in the pre-market. So I actually pull up the pre-market price movers, and everything moving about $2 or more is usually what makes the list. So EMPH bouncing down, getting a little bit of, and it's moving $2 or more in the pre-market. That doesn't mean it's moving $2 or more after the market actually opens. So this one moving down $3, and likely to find support around 97. I'd watch out. That one definitely still feels heavy. As Goose and I were talking about yesterday, SEDG couldn't muster any strength to go fill that gap from back there in October. And yeah, that alternate energy stuff, it seems like it's falling out of favor. We were heavy into it. A lot of investment was coming into it. It's just sector rotation at this point. It's out of favor. It'll come back around maybe at some point in the future. So we're seeing DPST, daily regional banks, actually dropping a little bit. This is regionals. If we go look at FAS, that's your big boys right there, big boys and girls. And what comes up tomorrow? Anybody remember? Tomorrow, what happens tomorrow? Financial earnings start. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. Q1 financial earnings start tomorrow. And we may see rotation out of those financials and into, I got my mouse. Now I can work a little better. So we may see rotation out of the financials and into big tech as big tech starts earnings. So that would be stuff like Apple. We may see money flow out of financials into stuff like Apple, Google, Meta, Netflix, NVIDIA, that Magnificent Seven stuff. So TSLA, down a bit. And we watch out. We are below the roadmap line. Everybody see it? The 618 retrace. Probably should pull it right there. This is a sloppy chart compared to the one I usually show that's saved to the other tab. Right there. We are below that daily roadmap line. We have the 618 just below us right here at 220. We get below 220. Watch out. The target's right down here. I'm still short Tesla via TSLS and TLSQ. So TSLS, TSLQ. I'm still short both of those. Long both of those, which are short Tesla. Why'd I go with both? Because I wanted to see which one performs better. So I have a little bit of exposure in both of those just to see what happens. All right, moving on. Almost through the list. SIDU, wish I had the dumpster fire. I'd play it right now. That's absolute dumpster fire. Looks like absolute garbage. Don't trade this stuff. Don't trade it with your money. Don't trade it with my money. Don't trade it with anybody's money. I mean, why do you want to trade that? 101 reverse split. God, that absolute garbage. And it's, I mean, yeah, it sparked a little bit of rally, but think about it. 100 to 1. 100 to 1. So that used to be, I mean, that would have been rallying from 400 to 1,070. I mean, if that goes, if and when that goes below that right there, don't come crying. That's just absolute garbage. Probably going down. I mean, look, they lose tons of money. This stuff is expensive. This stuff being money is expensive right now. SCO, ultra short oil, dropping, but just turning on the roadmap line. If, this would be interesting, if we got a breakout, we could see that rally, but right now, just not there. So that may actually turn down at the roadmap line. This is short oil, so it's like the opposite of UCO. This one's consolidating below the roadmap line. Yeah, it's funny enough, UCO and SCO both below the roadmap line. So what does that kind of tell you? Oh, oil's not performing. That's what it tells you. So sometime that'll break loose, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, all right. Bias for the day. Let's just go ahead and do that. Now, if I said anything today that, like I said, if I said anything today that you like, that helpful, informational, give me a thumbs up, interact with the video, share with somebody. It'd be helpful. And before I wrap this up here and get on with the in-person meetup, right there, S&P actually popped higher. Look at that. Popped higher, getting a retrace after popping higher. What does that mean? Well, I don't know. I think we're going to break. I think we're going to push on higher. We need to hold these lower time frame roadmap lines and then break on out. But I'm still biased thinking we're going to get that higher high right up here. We're set up for it. If we don't do it now, it's going to miss a good opportunity. But that didn't mean anything. Just missing the opportunity doesn't mean anything. We can retrace and we can come back at it later. I mean, the market's good at that. So have a great day, everybody. Yeah, I don't have the dumpster fire. I'll have it again on Monday. While I'm in the live studio, I don't have all the extra. I mean, while I'm in the live remote location, I don't have all the stuff I have in my normal studio. So hope everybody has a great day. Be safe out there. The account you save may be your own. Bye for now.